It was Sarah's first semester away from home. She was shy, but excited. Finally, living in a dorm that buzzed with new friendships. Her roommate often stayed with her boyfriend, leaving Sarah alone most nights. One night at 2 a.m., Sarah heard a faint knock on her door. She thought maybe a friend was playing a prank. But when she looked through the peephole, no one was there. She brushed it off and went back to bed. The next night, it happened again. 3 slow knocks. She checked no one. By the third night, she was terrified. She shoved a chair under the handle, trying to sleep through her fear. Finally, she told her Ra, who admitted others had heard the same thing. Security cameras were checked and what they found made everyone's blood run cold. A man, not a student, was roaming the hall at night, crouching low so cameras barely caught him. He'd disappear right before the knock. Police later discovered he was a former maintenance worker who had been sneaking into the building. He was caught before anyone was hurt, but Sarah never slept in that dorm alone again. Story 2. The roommate's secret. Jason was the kind of student everyone liked, quite focused, always keeping to himself. His roommate, Kevin, thought he'd lucked out, but as weeks passed, Jason noticed strange things. At night, Kevin would sit at his desk, typing furiously on his laptop. Sometimes, Jason woke up to see Kevin just staring at him. Once, he even found his own textbook flipped open on his desk, though he never left it there. Things escalated when Jason returned from class one afternoon and found Kevin reading his personal journal. Furious, Jason grabbed it back. Kevin just smiled and said, "I know more about you than you think." Jason reported it to housing, but the complaint felt brushed aside. Then, one night, Jason woke up to find Kevin standing over him, holding a kitchen knife. Kevin didn't move. He didn't speak. He just stood there. Jason screamed, and Kevin dropped the knife, running out. It turned out Kevin had stopped taking his prescribed medication, and his behavior spiraled out of control. Jason was moved to another dorm immediately. But he carried the fear for years that you never really know who you re-sharing a room with. Story 3. The haunted hall college legends often fade into myths, but some stories linger because too many people experience the same thing. At a small-town university, there was a dorm with a reputation, room 213. Students whispered that no one stayed there long. When Emily was assigned to it, she laughed at the stories. But within her first week, she began waking at exactly 3:15 a.m. to the sound of footsteps pacing her room. The air turned icy, her breath visible. Her roommate also started hearing whispers, a woman's voice repeating the same phrase. "I didn't want to die here." Terrified, the girls begged to be reassigned. Ra admitted that years ago, a student had taken her own life in that very room. The school tried to keep it quiet, but word spread. Emily transferred out, but she said she would never forget the feeling of someone sitting on the edge of her bed at night, even when she knew no one was there. Story 4. The stalker in the window. Sometimes the scariest things aren't supernatural at all. Lena lived on the ground floor of her dorm. She loved the convenience until one night she noticed something odd. Every evening, around midnight, as she studied, she felt like someone was watching her. At first, she brushed it off. But then, one night, she caught movement outside. A man stood right outside her window, staring in. She screamed, but by the time others rushed over, he was gone. Campus security promised to patrol, but the visits didn't stop. One night, Lena woke to find the window sliding open. The man was trying to climb in. She ran, screaming down the hall, until others called the police. He was called a stranger with no connection to the school. He had been watching her for weeks. Lena's courage in reporting and fighting back not only protected herself, but also led to tighter dorm security for everyone. Closing reflection, these 4 stories are very different. One haunted by footsteps, another by trust shattered, one by grief trapped in the walls, and another by real-world danger. Yet they all remind us of something important. College life, ISNT. Just about books and friendships. It's about awareness, courage, and the strength to speak up when something feels wrong. If you ever find yourself in a situation that makes your heart race with fear, whether that's a stranger's knock, a roommate's secret, or a shadow outside your window, remember this: your voice matters. And asking for help can save not only your life, but others as well. Because sometimes the scariest dorm room nightmares are the ones that could have been prevented if only someone had spoken up sooner.